Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital YouTube channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Nick has a son now, but was this the correct GH call? Nicholas talks Spencer into a questionable scheme to protect Ace from Esmond. Thursday's General Hospital recap for January 16, 2024. Adam's life was also saved in this episode, albeit only just thanks to Joss's efforts to advocate for him. Trina dropped the Paris bomb on Esmond. Finn got some positive news about his case. Cyrus was delighted to let Sonny off the hook now that he had a good deal in place. Now let's delve a little deeper into the details. Nicholas tried everything he could to persuade Spencer to accompany him on his escape. However, it was a hard no. Spencer had a life here. He had Trina. He wasn't going to abandon her. Instead, he wanted Nick to stay, clear his record, and fight for Ace now that Esmond was headed to jail. Laura called with an update, and the plan fell apart. Esmond wasn't going to jail after all. This prompted a talk between the men about whether Esmond recalled. Spencer found it unusual that she addressed him as Spence. Nick, of course, exploited this to persuade Spencer to allow him at least take the baby. It was too risky to have old Esmond raise him. Spencer ultimately agreed. Nick packed a backpack while Spencer said his goodbyes to his brother. He delivered the infant to his father, threatened him to treat the child well, and watched them go. Meanwhile, Esmond and Trina were having an argument at the courthouse. Esmond was certain Trina was disappointed she only received a slap on the wrist, an accusation Trina dismissed. No, she thought it was fair, at least for this offense. Besides, what does she care? She's leaving for Paris shortly anyway. Esmond was ecstatic to learn Trina was leaving the country. That is, until she realized Spencer was going with her. How about her? What about Ace? Trina told her Spencer was still very concerned about his brother, but he was completely unconcerned about Esmond and her feelings. Esmond nearly burst into tears as she dashed home to speak with Spencer. It's really shame she wasted so much time with Trina. By the time she arrived, Nick and Ace had left. Dex was dressed in scrubs and made his way to Cyrus's room to perform the procedure. He almost did, but Sonny knocked on the window and yelled no. Talk about a last-minute saving. Sonny then entered the room, where he and Cyrus spoke briefly. Cyrus was relieved to let him know he was out of trouble. No charges would be filed. At the very least, he did not intend to testify. What's the cost? Well, he made a contract with someone else. Sonny was floored. He was even more stunned when he later discovered that the dealmaker was Naina. Isn't this good news? Wrong. The only good news was that she was still in the hospital, which allowed him to tell her off. Which he did. He warned her to remain out of his business and away from him for good. Later, he told Dex that they weren't done with Cyrus. They're going to make him wish Dex had murdered him. Later, Naina went in to visit Cyrus and told him that if the charges were dismissed, he could go ahead and spread the information. Also at the hospital was Joss. She hurried in to check on Adam and stood outside his room, watching Finn and Liz struggle to save his life. Fortunately, Adam was spared. Joss received the happy news shortly after Carly, Laura Wright, hurried to her side. However, things took a turn when Finn recommended calling Adam's parents. Joss objected. They are the reason Adam accomplished this in the first place. Unfortunately, as next of kin, they were forced to call regardless. Joss took Adam's guitar and went to his room. She grabbed his hand and pledged to stay till he awoke. Soon after, Trina arrived to help Joss. Later, Finn received good news. Liz informed him that the person who treated Muldoon was in Port Charles and willing to speak with him. Which Quartermain cousin do you root for? General Hospital spoilers for January 17, 2024 center on locating, confronting, and causing drama. You do not want to miss this episode. It is well known that Naina's covert reveal backfired. Well, hers is hardly the only one. In addition, the backlash affected Michael's relationship with Willow. She isn't too pleased with his selections. As a result, she's been re-evaluating her life and marriage. On the other hand, it's unclear how Ned was affected except from controlling Michael's shares, which is a significant victory for him. Meg, it's time for a reckoning, and it appears that Michael and Ned must prepare for a conflict between the ELQ and Aurora Titans. Who will win when the two face off? Speaking of Nina, she's on the outs with the majority of Port Charles, which puts her in a desperate situation. For example, she is making agreements with Cyrus Renault to keep Sunny out of prison. Nina is about to reveal a bombshell. Does she discover a secret that she can use to win back friends and family, like Michael and Dex collaborating to bring down Sunny? While Nina is dropping bombshells, Carly and Drew are just trying to find peace and comfort in their little piece of the earth. She is mourning her mother's death. He is battling with his post-prison PTSD. As a result, now is the ideal time for them to rely on one another, while also figuring out how to move forward. Another PC inhabitant in desperate mode is Esma. For starters, she nearly avoided a spell in jail. Then she learned out Trina and Spencer were going to Paris together. She also has to pretend to be good Esm, which is quite exhausting. Unsurprisingly, the young and cunning Deva is in complete fear. Best advice: everyone should stay out of her way. Finally, Finn and Liz had some positive luck with this malpractice lawsuit. Fortunately, things take a slight turn when they discover a clue. How much will this clue aid Finn's potentially career-ending lawsuit? If you've fallen behind on General Hospital, Soap Hub can help you catch up on everything going on in Port Charles. Every weekend, we post a weekly update that informs you of the most important events that occurred and helps you understand where the program is currently. The former Pine Valley co-stars reunited for State of Mind. Despite admitting problems with the video and audio, Maurice Benard hoped fans would still appreciate the concert they taped at Graceland, and he was correct. It was a 2-for-1 bargain with Dr. Charles Noonan and Walt Willey, a former All My Children actor who now appears periodically on General Hospital. Dr. Noonan re-entered Benard's life on the Graceland stage last year, surprising his old patient, whom he had diagnosed over 30 years ago, and this year he conducted the interview, turning the tables on the Daytime Emmy winner. Benard has made it clear that telling the doctor what was wrong with him transformed his life. At Graceland, Dr. Noonan got Benard to talk about a lot of interesting topics, including how when he played Daisy Arnaz, he was actually playing his own father. The two men shared many parallels, but one had a deeper voice. That sparked a conversation when he questioned his father about giving the belt to him when he was young. Benard admitted to being sensitive at the time and attempted to persuade his father that it was abuse, eventually receiving an apology from him. His father said it was what he knew, which sparked even more interesting discussions about breaking the link. Benard ultimately brought Willey to the State of Mind stage, preparing the audience by telling them how hilarious his former AMC co-star was, but it wasn't all laughter. After talking about working his way up from extra to under 5 to day player, etc., on several daytime operas, including meeting his future Pine Valley brother, the late Larkin Malloy, as an extra on Edge of Night. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.